This is going to be the perfect video for anyone that wants to use the Astra theme. It's a full tutorial where I'm going to walk you through from step by step, from top to bottom, how to get the most out of this theme, how to customize it exactly the way that you want to customize it for you, for your business, for your brand, for your website. This is the video for you. Maybe you're a beginner. Maybe you watched another tutorial on YouTube about how to use this theme. This is going to be the full tutorial. I'm going to show you everything from top to bottom. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. So here I am on a clean WordPress website installation. There's nothing installed. Now, if you don't already have hosting and WordPress installed, if you visit WPCrafter.com/SiteGround, it's going to take you here to SiteGround and apply a 70% discount on their hosting. Now, if you don't have hosting, I recommend this Grow Big plan right here. You're going to save 70% off. Performance is fantastic, support is fantastic, and I'll put that link down below in the video description, and I'll also put a link to a tutorial on how to set up WordPress on SiteGround. It's a pretty great service. Okay, so here we are back to the website. Now what we need to do is download the Astra theme. Now the best way to get the Astra theme is to open up a new tab in your web browser and visit WPCrafter.com/getastra. Now I'll also have a link to this in the video description box. When you click on enter and go to that link, it's going to take you to Astra's website and automatically start the download process for you. That's all that you have to do. You can see here on the bottom left, it's already downloaded to my computer, and that's where we're going to get it. So let's go back to our WordPress website. We'll go to Appearance and we'll click on Themes. We'll click on Add New, and then we'll click on Upload Theme, and then we're going to just drag and drop Astra from our Downloads folder of our computer right there and click on Install Now. Once it's uploaded, click on Activate, and now you can see Astra is active on your website. So the next thing we want to do is visit the Astra settings. So underneath Appearance, there's a new option that says Astra Options. Go ahead and click on that. And right here is basically the home base for the Astra theme. Now, one of the main benefits of going with the Astra theme is a plugin they have called Astra Sites, which is over 100 ready-made websites that you can add to your website with just a few mouse clicks. So we're going to go ahead and get that set up right now. So right here it says Import Starter Sites, and I'm going to go right here where it says Install Importer Plugin. We'll click on that and it's going to download the plugin, and then it went ahead and activated it for us. Now the first thing it's going to ask us is which page building tool are we going to use? A WordPress theme handles all your global styles in your header and footer. I'm going to show you all this in a little bit, and everything in between is put together with something called a page builder. So we're going to choose Elementor, which happens to be the most popular page builder ever created for WordPress. So we'll click right here, and then I'll click on Next, and this plugin's now going to show me all of the sites that I can restore with one click. Now some of the sites that you see have this little badge right here that says agency, and what that means is there is a premium version of this that you pay a little bit of money for, and you get access to all of the Astra sites that say agency along with the free ones, obviously. So we're going to just go and choose one of the free ones. So on any of these, you can hover over it to see what the design looks like. Click on preview and you could get a full screen preview of what the design looks like. If it's one that you want to add to your website, it's very simple. All you have to do is click on Import Site. Now what this is going to do is essentially make your website into this demo, where all you have to do from that point on is change your styling, your fonts to be the fonts you want, the colors that you want, change the text and the images, and you have a full website. So we're going to let this do its thing. All right, the site is done importing. I did want to point out an option that is right here. What's nice is if you go through the site and you decide that you didn't want that one, you want to try a different one, you can go through that whole process again. But before you click on the button to start the import, you'll want to click on this checkbox right here that will delete the previously installed site. So if I wanted to switch, all I have to do is make sure I check that box. It's going to wipe out what I had prior, and it's going to put in the new website. So here is what WordPress looked like by default. Now I'm going to click on refresh and you're going to see what my website looks like right now. See how easy that was? It just took a few minutes to get everything set up and get me to this point. Now in the rest of this tutorial, we're going to go through how to customize this site to make it your own. This includes changing the logo, changing the colors, changing the fonts, changing the menu, changing what is off to the right of the menu, changing the footer, etc. We're going to go over all of that in the rest of this video. Now I'm going to click back, and once this is done, you can click on the X on the top left and it's going to take you right back here. I do want to let you know, late in 2019, Astra Starter Sites, the plugin that shows us all of this, is going to have a massive overhaul, and it's going to look better. It's going to be looking a little different, but it's going to be better. But if you just follow what you've learned in this video, you'll be able to get by just fine. Just don't be startled if you see it look a little bit different. So now I'm going to go back to the Astra options by clicking right here underneath Appearance. And what we see here is a series of jump links. And these will take you specifically to where you need to go to change what it says. So if I wanted to change my logo, I would click right here. If I wanted to change my fonts, it would be here. My header right here, my footer right here, and we have 4 other options right here on this side. Now, the Astra theme also has a professional version available. You can find out more information by visiting WPCrafter.com/Astra. And what it's going to do is give you more options to customize your WordPress website. However, for this video, I'm going to focus on the free version, which you have right now. We also have some useful links right here. So if you want to learn more about the Astra theme, you can click this link right here to visit their knowledge base. There are hundreds of documentation and articles there that you can go through to learn just about anything you'd want to learn about the Astra theme. Here's a link right here that's going to take you to the Astra Facebook group community. You might just see me in there. That's a great place to go to connect with other Astra users. And last right here is the option to submit a ticket. If you're running into some trouble, you can click right here and open up a support ticket, and they will help you out to solve whatever problem that you're facing. So now let's learn how to start customizing the properties of our website. You're going to want to go to Appearance and then click right here where it says Customize, and it's going to take us into what's called the Customizer, and this is where all of the options are going to be for you to customize your colors, your fonts, everything about the Astra theme. You're going to find that it's quite easy to make this website your own. Now throughout your website, you're going to see these pencil icons. You're going to see one right here. You're going to see one right here. And you also see one right here. Now those are there for convenience. If you're to click on it, it will take you to the specific part in the settings panel where you can adjust the settings for what that is next to. So let me show you, for example, here's my logo. If I click right here to the pencil off to the left of the logo, you can see it takes me exactly in the settings panel where I need to go to change my logo. So I can change the logo right here. You also get the option to change a Retina logo. That is for displays that have high resolution. And then down here, you can also set a unique logo for when you're viewing this website on a mobile device. And we get these same options when we click on the pencil right here next to the menu. And when we click on the pencil right here next to the entire main menu. So those are there for convenience. But I think it's best to learn the settings from a top-down approach, so you'll always be able to find exactly what you're looking for. So at the very top, we have global options, and these are options that are going to affect your entire website, and these are going to be typography and font options, how large you want certain fonts. It's going to be colors. It's also going to be the style for your button right here. So you're going to be able to set those in the global options, and they'll affect your entire website. Next, down on the list, we have our header options, and this is going to be the options for everything above this line. That is called your header. So this is where your settings are going to be for your logo, for your menu, and for your button. They're all going to be right there as well. Next, we have breadcrumb options. I'll show you that when I get to it. Next are the options for your blog and the style of your blog posts. Then the sidebar, this is an area that will be off to the right of blog posts optionally, and you can put information there. And then lastly, we're going to have the footer. This is that area at the bottom of the page where you typically have a copyright. And then we see this separation right here, and we have some additional options. One is menus. Now this is going to be where you decide which items are going to be in your menu, in which order. It's going to be pretty easy to use. Next, we have widgets for various widget areas. Homepage settings, this is where you choose which page on your website you want to act as your homepage. And then here's a slightly advanced section called additional CSS. This is where you can modify some of the styles with code for your website. Don't worry, it's actually quite easier than I just made it sound. Now, depending on what plugins you have on your website, you might see additional options here. For example, here's a website and it has Astra, but this also has a plugin called WooCommerce, which allows you to have a full e-commerce platform on your website. Now, if you notice, there's an additional option here that isn't shown on the site we were just looking at, and that's because it doesn't have WooCommerce enabled. So you're going to see this with a lot of the Astra integrations, such as WooCommerce, LearnDash, Easy Digital Downloads, and various plugins like that. So that is why it might look different depending on your website. Okay, let's get started. I'm first going to click on Global, and we have these 4 options right here. We have Typography. These are going to be your fonts. Colors. Container. What the container is your website has this container from the far left to the far right, just like that. And we can set some settings on how wide the content actually goes in that container section. It'll all make more sense when we take a look at it. And then we have buttons, and this is where we're going to control the button style for your website. So let's first take a look at typography. You have base typography and headings. So this right here, for example, is a heading, and that would be under headings, but all the rest of the typography on your website, that's just going to be under base typography. So when we click into one, we have the options of choosing our font, and then we can choose the font size in pixels, and then we can choose the thickness, which is also known as the weight, the line height, and the paragraph margin underneath the paragraph. Okay, I'll go back and click on headings. We have something similar here. We choose the heading family, and then we can choose the weight, and as we scroll down, we can choose the font size for each of the specific headings. Heading 1 through heading 6. And let's go back. So those are your typography options. Next we have colors, and then we can choose on base colors. This is where we're going to choose our text color, theme color, link color, and link hover color. And these settings are being pulled from to generate the link color right here. And this is also the active color and also the hover color. So if I hover my mouse over these menu items, you can see it changes color. That is the link hover color that you see right here, and the link color, and then the theme color is used all throughout your website. Now we also have an option to change the background color of the header, but as you can see on this website, the background color is no color. It's set to transparent, and we'll get to where that is set in a moment. You can also choose a background image. Okay, I'm going to go back out of colors. I'll go into container. Now the container is how wide you want the content of your website. By default on this site, it's set to 1200. Each Astra starter site is going to be set to something different, so you can make it more narrow if you want. And then there's the different types of content on your website. So this is the general layout. This is the layout for pages. This is the layout for blog posts. And this is the layout for archive layout. So what that means is when you go to your main blog page and it shows all the different blog posts that people can click into, that's going to be known as your archive layout. And we get to choose from multiple options. So when I click on the drop down, we have boxed, content boxed, full width, and full width stretched. So we have these various options right here that you can test. Now it's hard to show you on the page that I'm on, but I will show you when we are into the blog post options so you can see what each of those look like. I'm going to back up, and then we have buttons right here, and you can click on the pencil to reveal the color selection panel. So for buttons, I can choose the text color, the background color. I can click right here and choose the hover color. So if you notice when I hovered over this button, it changed colors. Well, that is the hover color right here. If we wanted to change that color to something else like that, we could easily do that. And now when I hover, you can see it's an entirely different color. So you can set that right here for the normal and the hover. And as you see, we don't actually have it set for the normal. It's pulling from the theme color that we looked at just a moment ago. I'll click here to close that panel. And we have this option to style it even further called border. So when I click right here, you have the padding, and that's for vertical and horizontal. That is essentially the space right here. That's your horizontal padding right there. And your vertical padding is how far it is from the bottom of the button right there. That is how the padding works if you want to change the size of your button. And we also have border radius. This is what's rounding the corners. So if I didn't want the corners rounded, I would just change this down to a 0. And you can see now our button is a box. And you have that option right there. You can make it as rounded as you want. I'll go ahead and click the X to close that. I'll back up. And we've covered all of the global options that comes with the free version of Astra. Let's back up. And now we can start with our top-down approach with the header. Now, the biggest issue I see people running into with Astra is not understanding where to go to change the logo. There's only going to be 2 potential options. The option if you're using a transparent header, which we are, and the option if you're not using a transparent header. So let's first start with site identity and we'll work our way down to transparent header. When I click here, we have our logo options. And we just covered these a moment ago. We have our normal logo. We have our Retina logo for high resolution displays. We have our mobile logo. What's nice is we also can adjust the size of the logo by adjusting the logo width. So if I wanted it to be smaller, you can see it's shrinking and now it is increasing. So you're able to control it that way with the logo width option. Right here, we have an option to choose the site icon, better known as a favicon. So when you have a tab open in your web browser, it will show this site icon. You can optionally show your site title and your site tagline. Now, by default on this site, we're not showing it, but if I wanted to show it, I would check this box and you can see it's going to say the text that is right here. And you can see it says that right here. Now you can see it doesn't fit with this design. So I'm going to uncheck that box right there. We have the same options for tagline. Let's go back. Let's take a look at the primary header. And this is going to be your header style. So you have 3 style options. Logo on the left. This is for logo in the middle, navigation underneath it. And this is for logo on the right, navigation on the left. I'll click back here and choose the logo on the left option. Right here we have some options related to the width of the header. We have a border option right here. It'll add a border to the bottom of your header. And then we also have some mobile options. So this option here is going to show the logo on the left and a hamburger icon on the right. And this other option will show the logo on the top and the hamburger icon on the bottom. Now we can see what these look like very easily because we have these options right here in the customizer. I can click this option right here and it immediately shows me what the website looks like on a mobile device. So I can choose the other option, which was right here, and you can see it has changed the way the layout works. So I'm going to choose this one and I'm going to go back to desktop view, and these are our primary header options. I'll go back. I'll choose primary menu. Now here we are in one of my favorite settings for the Astra theme, and it's the last item in the menu option. We can click right here to show some various options. We can have nothing. You see there's a button there now. I can just choose none and there's nothing there. We have an option for search. We have an option for a button. We have an option for text or HTML, and we have an option for a widget. You would use widget to add social icons there. So we can choose button, and then right here we can put our button text in and our button link in. So you have a great amount of flexibility to make this look however you want it to look. And then we also have an option to hide that last menu item on a mobile device. This is going to be very good if you go and you test it on a mobile device and you don't like the way it looks, just check this box. Next, we have some options for a sub menu. We don't have a submenu on this website, but we do on this one right here. And it's for this account menu item. And you can see we have options for that submenu as well. So here are our options, what animation will happen when you hover over it. And you see the options that are right there. And we have some border options. As we scroll down, we have some additional options here for the way the mobile menu appears, for the way that the menu appears on a mobile device, and when it appears on a mobile device. Let's go back to the menu version. And so right here, you can put a menu label. There isn't one, but if I type menu right here, you can see it just added it right there. We also have border radius options. So you can see right there, the button is kind of square, but if I wanted it to be circle, I can increase the border radius so that it looks like a perfect circle. So we have lots of flexibility there with the mobile menu. Okay, that's primary menu. Let's take a look at transparent menu. Now, what confuses people sometimes is when there's a logo and a transparent header, but they're going to where it says site identity, changing the logo there, and they don't see it updating. So it could be different. If you're using a transparent header, your logo could be in the site identity or it could be under transparent header. So just understand the difference there. Okay, so the reason why you might want a different logo on a transparent header, because it's a transparent header, it might have a dark background or a light background and your logo might not look right. So you want to have this option to have a logo that's going to be appropriate for the background that you're putting behind your logo. And you can see we have the option checked right here, different logo for transparent header. So this is where you're going to put the logo for your transparent header. And here's the option for Retina devices. And as we scroll down, you'll see a lot of the same options. But right here, we have different color options as well for your menu. And the reason why is what I was just explaining, how you might have a different colored background. So if you have a dark background, you can't have a dark font or a dark logo. You have to have a light logo and a light font. So we have additional options here for that. So here is, for example, the menu options. I can click right here and you can see we have color options here that are specific only on content that you're using a transparent header on. Now there's an option at the very top here of when we're going to have this transparent header. Do you want it on your entire website or do you just want it on a page by page basis? So how we're doing it on this website is we're using it on a page by page basis. And I'll show you how to enable it individually on particular pages. But let's take a look at what the options are when we check this box here that says enable on complete website. So right off the bat, we're not seeing any difference here, but we do get additional options that reveal themselves. And what this is going to allow you to do is disable the transparent header on certain parts of your website. Now, these are parts of your website where having a transparent header might look problematic and might be problematic. And it has to go with the content that you have behind it. So it's nice that we have these options to disable it where we want it disabled. So I'm going to uncheck that box and I will make sure to show you how to enable transparent header on a page by page basis. Okay, let's go back. Now we've covered header and we'll be able to move a little quicker. Next, we have the breadcrumbs option. I'll show you this on this site I have set up right here. So this is another Astra site and I'm going to click on breadcrumbs and here's the position and it is, let's choose after header. So this is my header and I just decided that I want breadcrumbs after the header, and this is what breadcrumbs are. This is taking the visitor back on your website. So here is the content that they're on right now. And there's going to be a link to the category your content's in and the original homepage so they can see how far away they are from your homepage. And we have those options. So your options are inside header, after header, and before title. I think it looks best after header, exactly how I set it up. Now, when you enable it like this, you also get those disable rules on where you would want this disabled. So if you only wanted them enabled on blog posts, you can easily accomplish that. And as I scroll down, we have additional options. Where do you want it? On the left, center, or right? And we have spacing options as well as color and typography options. So I'll go ahead and turn that back off, and then I'm going to back up. And we're going to stay here for the next customizer setting, which is blog. I'm already on a blog post. So I'll click into blog, and we have the settings for when we're looking at a list of our blog posts. And then what we're on right now is a single particular post. So here's a single blog post. I have a featured image, and I have some other elements. So let's click into there to see the options that we have. So our first option is to set the content width. And I'm really glad this features here, because a trendy option is to have a more narrow content container for blog posts. Let me show you what I mean. So our options for content width are default and custom. So it's on custom, and now right here I can set how wide I want this container. So if I wanted more narrow container, I could start reducing this number to say where I have it now, close to 900, and you can see it's more narrow. It looks a lot more stylized, and you can even go more narrow if you wanted to have that for your blog post content, and this would apply to your blog posts. I really like that this option's here. Next, we get to choose the order and the visibility of elements. So right here, I have the option of my featured image and the title. So if I wanted to change the order of these, I can just drag this up like that, and you're going to see the title is now above the featured image, and we can easily drag that back. Now you also have visibility options by clicking on the eye. So if I didn't want to show a featured image, I click right here, and none of my blog posts will show the featured image. It's really as simple as clicking on the eye. Now we also have some options right here for the meta. This is what meta is right here. So you're going to see as I start clicking on these different options, you're going to see that change. So if I wanted to show the author name, I can click on the eye right here, and now you're going to see it added the author name. The publish date, I can click on the eye right here. And if I had tags, and when I click right here, it will show the tags for that blog post. And guess what? You get to rearrange these as well. If I wanted that publish date to be first, I drag that to the top, and now you see we have our publish date right here at the front. It's as easy as just dragging and dropping these options around. Last, we can choose how large we want the font to be for the title. I can click right here. It's set to 30, but I can just increase it like that, and you can see the title is getting larger. Those are our options for blog. So let's reset our container width, and let's go back. Now we have options for our sidebar. Now this page right here does not have a sidebar, but if I wanted a sidebar on blog posts, I have that option right here. I can choose right sidebar like that, and it's going to add a sidebar here on the right. And I can decide what widgets I want here and in what order I want them. I can even change the width of the sidebar right here. So let's take a quick look on how to add these widgets and move them around. Once again, we have the pencil icon. I can click right here, and the option panel just jumped me right to where I needed to go. And you can see here are the series of default widgets that are added automatically to WordPress, and the first one is search. But if I didn't want search, or I wanted to rearrange it, it's the same thing. I can just drag and drop it, and now recent posts appears at the top. But if I didn't want search, I can go right here and I can click on remove, and it disappears entirely. You have these options, and down here you can click on add a widget, and you can choose from any of the available widgets that you see right there. Lastly, we have options for our footer. I'll click right here, and then I'll choose the first option that says footer widgets. This is going to enable or disable a footer widget area. Just a moment, we saw a widget area for a sidebar. We have those same options for our footer. We can have 4 different widget areas down there. Let's go back and take a look at the footer bar. The footer bar is that area at the very bottom of your website. I'll scroll down. There is also a pencil icon here that would have taken us directly there. And this is where we're going to change the copyright notice, and we can choose what we want on the right and what we want on the left right here. So we could disable it. We can have this option right here to change the layout where everything is now stacked, and we can go back to how we just had it, where there's an area on the left and the right. So we're left with these two sections, and we have options. So here's section 1. I can choose the drop down. I could have nothing, text, widget, or a menu there. And you can see I have text, and it is the copyright. So this is where you can change the copyright to whatever you want it to be. But you're going to want to leave this little portion right here because that's always going to update to the latest year. So when you enter a new year, you don't have to figure out where you go to update your website. And so on the far right, we have same options. Now, what I like to do typically on the right is I like to have a footer menu, and this would be a specific menu that would have my terms of service, privacy policy, and sitemap information. And I would choose that right there. So we have some similar options of content width, border size, color, and we also have some background and content color options there. Now let's go back to the root of our settings. We have menu, widgets, homepage, and CSS. Let's get through these quickly. We have menu. I just scrolled up to the top. This already is our main menu. If I click right here where it says main menu, I can see my menu options. I can easily rearrange these if I wanted to by just dragging and dropping them just like this. I can change what the label says. So if I didn't want this to say get in touch, I can click on the arrow and I can change that text right here. I'll collapse this. At the very bottom, here's an option to add an additional menu items. It's so easy to add new menu items to your WordPress menu. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's take a look at the homepage settings. This is where you're going to tell your website which page is going to be your homepage. And here's a list of all the pages that are on this particular website. You're also going to select a page that's going to act as your blog index page, where it will show a list of your blog posts. Let's go back. And lastly is additional CSS. If you contact support and there might be some form of a styling issue, they might give you a custom snippet of CSS. This is one of the best places to put that. Okay, I'm going to back up, and we have covered all of the customizer settings. I'll click on publish, and then I'll click on the X here to get out of the customizer. Now remember, here are those quick jump links to different settings areas in the customizer. This will be a big time saver if you quickly want to jump to a settings option. Now lastly, I said I would show you how to enable the transparent header on a page-by-page basis. So let me click right here on my home page, and there's also this other area of settings for Astra, and you're going to see them right here in the right-hand column, and it says Astra Settings. So we have page-by-page settings for the sidebar, for the layout of the content layout. We can disable elements on a page-by-page basis. So if there's a page you didn't want your header to be on, you can check this box right here, and it will not show the header on that page. We can disable the title, the featured image, the footer bar. We can disable breadcrumbs. Lastly, transparent header. It's right here. You can see it's enabled on this particular page, but there's additional options to disable it if that's what I wanted to do. Now, before we wrap this part of the tutorial up, I wanted to just show you what happens when you have a plugin that there's a specific integration for. In this case, it's WooCommerce. So we have that WooCommerce settings option here. When I click in it, you're just going to see specific settings for that integration. Now, you're already familiar with a lot of these settings because we went over fonts and colors and layouts and containers. So you will see those specific options here. There are very deep integrations with WooCommerce and LearnDash. For example, on WooCommerce, there's checkout options right here. You can control the visibility of certain checkout fields, and you can link to your privacy policy and terms and condition page. But there's many other options that are available, and in various other locations of the customizer settings, there may be additional options. In this case, you'll see on the far right area, we have a shopping cart icon right here in the header. Well, there's going to be an additional option for that when we go to header and we go to primary menu, and it's the last item in menu. Now there's an option for WooCommerce, which will show that shopping cart icon. There are a lot of great features in the free version of Astra, But I did want to take a quick look at the professional version because it just takes it all that much further. It will unlock additional menu navigation options. You could white label it if you're using this on clients' websites, additional blog layouts, additional site layouts, deeper WooCommerce integration. You'll get a sticky header option. I use that on my website. Page headers, that's a very nice feature. You're going to get more color options, more typography options, more custom layouts. You'll get the scroll to top link. You can see it being used right here on the bottom right. Footer widget options, header sections, more header designs. You'll also get spacing control. As you scroll down on this page, you'll see more information about each of those features, just so you know exactly what you're getting when you purchase Astra Pro. Now, currently, Astra Pro is coming in at a very affordable $59. Now, they also have a mini agency bundle, and this is going to unlock all those agency sites that we saw. It's also going to include an add-on plugin that will extend what you're able to do with your page building tool. And if you're selling websites as a solution to clients, it will also include a portfolio plugin so that you can show off all of the Astra sites and you can sell them and those designs on your own website. There's also a full agency bundle available right here. And what this is going to do is include everything in the mini bundle, but it's going to also include a lead generation plugin called Convert Pro. It's going to include Schema Pro. That's an amazing plugin. And it's also going to include future plugins that they might add to the suite. It's a really good value. A lot of people are benefiting from it. There's also lifetime options to purchase all of these different packages, so you won't need to renew them each year. Now, if you visit WPCrafter.com/Astra, and I'll have a link in the video description box down below, that's what's known as a referral link. If you did click on that link and purchase any of these packages, I'll receive a small referral fee, which goes to help me create these tutorials for you. Well, congratulations for making it to the end of the video. If you like tutorial videos like this, remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and click on that notification bell. And YouTube's going to let you know when new videos come out so you don't miss a thing. If you don't have the professional version of Astra, the link to that is WPCrafter.com/Astra, and I'll also have a link in the video description box down below. Hopefully this isn't the end of our relationship with WPCrafter. We have a Facebook group with over 20,000 users in there asking questions, answering questions. Everyone participates and contributes. So if you have questions that were not answered in this video, you have two options to go with right now. You can ask in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to answer you there. And I also want to personally invite you over to the WPCrafter Facebook group. I'll put a link to that in the video description box down below. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope to see you around more on the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.